way, I forgot to tell my fun fact. Do you know that City Walk in Orlando, Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett's place?
Yeah.
I know you know that place.
That's really well.
The airplane that's there. That's his actual airplane. That was his favorite airplane. It's called it like the Hemisphere Hopper or something like that. When he got done flying it, they took it apart, put it there, and put it back together. That's his plane.
The one in Orlando? Because there's a bunch of them.
Nope, that one. That
Wow.
specific plane is his plane.
That's
Pretty neat. I thought it was just a Martian. Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Monday. How you doing out there? Hope you had a great Christmas break. You got all the stuff you wanted. Time with family, right? All the good friends and stuff. No, the stuff. I hope you got the stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I hope you had a great break. We are back maybe in limited capacity this week because the markets are kind of in there. It's the quietest week of the year as you go between Christmas and New Year's. And of course, it's a shortened week anyways because of the New Year's holiday coming up. Hope you all have some cool plans and fun times and you're able to stay up till midnight and ring in the new year. I hear actually the New York City ball thing, that's done, canceled.
forever?
No, for this year. Like they're gonna probably do it, but you can't go and watch it.
Same with last year too, right?
I don't know. They did that too?
I think that's 2 years
That's
in a row. Maybe.
unfortunate. Unfortunate. But anyways, I hope you're, I don't know what that'll be on TV, if anything, but you enjoy New Year's there. If I don't see you, get to talk to you. Welcome, everybody. Where are we going to go here? Real quick, actually, let me just share this with you because some of you are research members. Hey, if you go into research site now, we just finished it. You have our research site is free for clients. It's $13 if you want to join. One of our tools is you can search for performance by a calendar period. You could say, how often does something gain or lose a certain amount? You can search by any given rolling amount. Like you could say in any 5-day period, in any 10-week period, and however you want. Well, now what you can do, for example, if I type in SPY, I'll do this quickly. I know that's not what we were here to talk about today, but Charlie told me to point it out. How often does the SPY gain 2% in one day? Look back 20 years. This one may take a while because that's actually quite a big search, but you can pull up the data for something and it'll tell you, oh, this is how often it happens and here's what happens the next window or the next day going forward. Well, now down here you can see the button. You can actually send it to our forward lookup. It will take all of that data and you could say, well, I'm not interested in the next day. I want to know when the market gains 2%, what does the next week look like if you want? And you can add, I think, 5, right? You can probably add as many as you like. It will take that data and it will show you what the performance is over the next week, just in case you want to look at that. I didn't mean to make this, I should do a separate video because that's not what we're here to talk about today. But if you're interested in that, it is now available for you. You can check it out. It is on the research site there. All right, stock market wise, we basically have a market that hit new all-time highs here today. Well, no, not basically, it did. New all-time highs, about 1.4% gain on the day, despite news of the potential vaccine needed to travel on airplanes. According to Dr. Fauci there, Biden press conference saying that this is really a state-level issue at this point. They're trying to back away from that. Aren't you just kind of tired of hearing about the virus, the vaccine, the new variants and all that stuff? Man, it's become like a political thing. It's sort of frustrating. Like, let's just figure it out and let's move on. Let's go back to other cool stuff here. And what's weird for me, by the way, in Florida, it's like a whole nother world compared to what you see. Like, I talk to clients all over the country, so I know that the virus obviously affects people, but in Florida, it's like we're just doing our thing. Some people wear masks, some people don't. You go to the theme park, you want to go out and about, you want to do whatever you want, you want to go to work. It's like the virus doesn't exist down here. Really, it's a weird phenomenon. We're just all living our lives. But I understand the struggles going around the world, and I get it. Like, let's make some progress here. I don't control that, obviously, but really tough one. Well, what you guys weren't concerned about over the holiday season was apparently your dough, because I see what MasterCard said there, 8.5% increase in holiday retail sales compared to last year, meaning A lot more dollars were spent this year than last year. Kind of understand that one. But an 8.5% increase is the largest increase year over year since 2004. So keep that in mind. You're looking at retail stocks wondering like why they had some good days today. It's because people went out and spent a whole lot of money on gifts. Yet, apparently 89% of people who have student loans, this is the headline, cannot afford to make their student loan payments yet. They're not ready to start making payments yet. I'm actually going to do a video on that. That is one of the biggest scams I've ever seen. It's all public data. I probably spent 4 hours just looking through going, who are these people? Why is it that 8 in 10 people can't pay their student loans because they're not back to work or whatever? Oh man, they pulled a fast one on the government there. And it worked. So I'll share the data with you in another video. But woo, that one had me fired up. All right, let's look at the markets here. Let's stop with the nonsense. NASDAQ almost hitting new highs there. Year to date, it is the leader still, but only by about 1%. See, the S&P is playing catch up there. As far as some of my ideas going into 2022, I'm going to explain some of them, and then I'll kind of show you why. And then I'll share with you what I think my top stock pick will be. I'm going to say it. It'll just be my top stock pick for 2022 to see what happens. Diamondback Energy. Ticker symbol FANG was the top pick for this year, and it did mostly great. I think it was the 7th best performing stock in the S&P. It's gone quiet in the last couple months, so not much progress there. But other than that, great performer here this year. No complaints about that. When we're talking about the NASDAQ, though, we're really talking about tech stocks, and I think tech has the roughest first half of the year going into next year. There's a number of reasons for that, but you have interest rates, right? Let me go over here. I shared this the other day. The black is the 10-year rate, and red is the technology sector or tech stocks. Well, they've been able to accelerate at this pace because rates have basically paused. We know that's not going to be the case going into next year. Rates are going to go higher, and I think in the first quarter is where we see the Feds wrap up their QE, essentially, buying the mortgage-backed securities and buying bonds in general. I think you see rates start to increase, if not for any other reason other than people believe, yeah, we're going higher. That's what's happening. And so that's going to be a real drag on tech stocks. I don't think it's a crash. I don't think anything there is a big deal. I just think it's going to start to bring down some of your tech stocks that have had really great runs here. So I would look for that. I think it'd be a buying opportunity if that happens. Adobe, I closed my position here today. I had the 535, 515 put spread. Honestly, I forgot about it. And I got 58% of the premium. I was trying to close everything out by last week. I did not. I had 2 positions left, and that was one of them. Closed that one out today for, it was 58% of the total profit. Now, Alibaba in the NASDAQ, dying to find an entry into this thing. Haven't been able to do so. I think this one will find a low in 2022. You're going to find it, and that's largely because China is going to do the same. Here's the FXI, which is looking at the large cap Chinese stocks over there, which Alibaba would be included. And if you look out a little bit further, we got to go a little further than that, huh? There we go. Okay. So we're headed back down towards the bottom of this range. So maybe in the first couple months of the year, we can push down just a little bit further, maybe broadly as we have a pullback. And then I think you look for your opportunity in Alibaba or any of those Tencent and things that may have pulled back that you're not scared to invest in as China itself or the large cap stocks in China follow their way back down here. And this is something I don't normally cover. So I was anxious to share that longer term chart with you. And so that's what we have in the NASDAQ. Other than that, as an index, the NASDAQ looks strong at the moment. I just think it's going to have some issues going into the next year. And when the NASDAQ outpaces the S&P in any given year, it does tend to start off the year weak if you're curious using the research tool to address that. S&P was the second strongest here today. It's second strongest year to date, actually, but it's very close. It's within 1%, as you know now. Some stocks in here we could look at. You got Intel. I think Intel does well next year, even though the semis will probably flatten out as supply comes back into the market, and there's probably an equal amount of demand, if not more, but more supply available for everything. I think their Mobileye spinoff is going to be big for them. Mobileye is like 1% of their total revenues and everything, but getting that off their balance sheet as still an investor in that company or an owner of that company, I think is going to be helpful. Also, so Intel breaks their earnings down into a couple categories. The first is the client computing group, which is the largest. And I always remember that one because it's the largest. It's like 52% or 51% of total revenues there. That's been a problem there because of obviously supply chain issues and a lot of people thinking AMD is just plain out better there. So the focus has been on building out their data center group, which is like 39%, something like that, of their total revenues. And they're looking to build that up. I think that's smart. That has been going well for them. And I think investors are going to start looking at Intel as maybe something that's bottoming out and coming back worthwhile here, at least while it's trading at a discount. You've got the Dow up 1% on the day. It looks like it's going to finish about third place. It's got an 18% gain on the year, right? Yeah, 18% on the year. Today's better performers were Microsoft and Apple in the Dow. There you go. Apple almost back to all-time highs there. You also had Chevron and Salesforce, two of the higher price stocks that did well today. Chevron about to hit new highs, one of the stronger ones in the energy sector. And Salesforce, after its earnings, conveniently held after Mark Benioff sold a ton of shares and somehow gets to do that. That's okay. Home Depot almost back to highs there as well. One stock that I think will be one of the better performers in the Dow next year is Boeing, actually. I think Boeing, it's going to be the year for Boeing to recover there. You have, can I share with you here? Take a look at this real quick. So we'll get rid of this. I want to show you new orders of aircrafts. I'm just going to zoom out, and maybe not so far, but that's good enough. So you can see all of this. Make it bigger. You can see everything in there and show you the years as well. All right, so we had the virus decline here. This is new aircraft orders that are not fighter jets and defense type vehicles. So obviously the big sell-off during the virus there, where new orders were almost non-existent because who's flying? There was nobody flying. Anyways, we've now recovered back to what is the norm, right? Basically the norm, about $10.8 billion dollars in orders there. So all good there. We're back to about 2010 levels. I do think it takes a little bit of time for them to play catch up as far as deliveries go. They've got some 787 issues that we've talked about recently here, so that's a big deal. And also they say they're going to need about 19,000 planes over the next decade, and they're the second biggest in the world. Airbus is currently the first in terms of deliveries there, but I think those quality issues are fading away. I think they'll start to go away, and they'll catch up to Airbus in terms of deliveries. And so also, travel's just getting going again, right? So I think Boeing is going to have one of those better years there. Well, it's basically all I wanted to share with you there, right? What do we have here? So Disney, I think, will be a better one as well, thanks to their streaming service. They were down about 1% today, which that's good, right? So good thing to see there for Disney. And we'll see how that one goes. But what do we see? Did something come out today? I see sexual assault allegations there. That's not a good sign. But Spider-Man making $1 billion. I mean, that's crazy. So you have that going on. And with the Dow, we have our super duper Guess the Dow game going on. Just a couple more days to go. Sponsored by my daughter, actually. In the description below, she's makes cool little jewelry out of gems and stones and such. And thank you, obviously, for so many people that bought. She was super excited. She kept calling me. And she goes, "Do you know this person? Do you know this person?" I'm like, yes, I know them. Oh, my God, they ordered for me. That's awesome. $500 first place, $250 second place, $100 for third place. We will be announcing on January 3rd. Cody, tell me what's going on there. Who's in the lead?
Yeah, we got our final five for this year. So I guess these five are kind of just hoping the markets hang out for a little bit. We got Bikram, Kevin, Brooke, James, and Mark. Those are your five for today.
I love it. Okay, and what, 3 days? No, 4 days to go?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Friday.
Oh, man. That's it. That's it. We'll see how that goes there. I'm going to keep flying through here because I want to share some of the other things with you here. Auto inventories. Ow, I can show it. I can go over here. Let me hang with you here. Here's the auto inventories. So we know that cars are one of the highest inflated products you can buy right now, if not the highest. I think energy or oil still beats them, maybe lithium if you're going to look at that. But I think auto inventories will start to rise again. We have a chip shortage that's basically going back to, or working its way back to normal levels. You have people basically, if they wanted to buy a car, they've done it already and paid the higher prices. You see auto sales starting to level off. Auto inventory is currently at their lowest level, which you understand why. Now prices are higher. I think that's going to start to increase, which is going to hurt some of the auto dealers, but not necessarily the suppliers. Here are a list of stocks that I put together. Yeah, we're just covering everything here on a Monday. This is a list of dealers, although I realize I've left out CarMax. I don't know why. But you have a handful of names you likely recognize. CarLotz is becoming popular down here as well, though struggling with some of the marketing that they're going through. And what I did is I put their 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year performance if available, so you could see which ones have had maybe the biggest increase thanks to used car sales, new car sales, and all that great stuff. Off to the right, what I did is I highlighted the average, the analyst consensus is the way we would say it. And rather than giving you a whole bunch of different terms, I said, well, look, the closer it is to 1, the more it is to a buy rating. The closer it is to 5, the closer it is to a sell rating. So it's everything in between. For example, CarParts.com has the best analyst rating at the moment, which is basically an outright buy at 1.5. Anything in the 2 would be closer to a hold. Anything above 3 would be starting to get into the sell. The reason why I don't put it there is because companies have their own way of saying their rating system. It's either buy, hold, sell. It is overweight, buy, market weight, underweight, or sell, right? So there's all these different terms. We basically assigned a number value to each one of those and said, well, where do we stand? So the worst rating is CarLotz, and that's just because they're struggling to get their marketing up off the ground, and it's a little bit newer of a public company, also a newer company, period. Now, I think it's going to hurt your names like AutoZone, AutoNation, which have had substantial gains over the last year, nearing 70%. They're also seeing analyst ratings start to tick more towards the hold/sell category, so that's likely being priced in with auto inventories at all lows right now. People starting to make that adjustment. And I don't think it hurts some of the parts companies as much. Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly, and AutoZone should be in there. Yeah, AutoZone is the outperformer out of the parts companies there, followed by O'Reilly, and then Advanced Auto Parts. But AutoZone is the leader thanks to their commercial approach as well. Not just selling to the retail, but getting their hands out there to the mechanic shops and things like that. O'Reilly would be the second best at that, admittedly, and they're a very good competitor against them, but not to make this discussion about all of that. Anyways, I think those will be affected by a rise in, the dealers will be affected by a rise in auto inventories. Lennar, bouncing around a little bit today. Closed out my $100 puts today for 71% of the total premium. Got to it late in the day. Honestly, if I weren't busy, I would have closed them earlier and I would have had a smaller profit. So it was just a pure luck that it was 71% instead of about 65, but happy to see that one. And we're moving on. We're getting closer to the stock pick of 2020. Let's see what we have first. New highs, 51 new highs, no new lows. You're going to first find Sealed Air. Cool little breakout. I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting there. Broke out to new highs, closed near highs of the day. AbbVie making new highs. I knew it. Remember last week I closed it out early, had the trade for like 2 days, and I'm like, no, I'm going to take the smaller profit and run away. I just know this thing's going to get me in trouble. So had a short position on that one. And I'm thankful I ran away there. So that's what those biotech stocks do to me. You guys know it. You got PerkinElmer here breaking a new highs as well. That is fresh new 52-week highs and kind of a consolidation pattern. It's not the best out of all of them, but I thought I'd share that. AMAT also breakout to new highs. Awesome. I know a couple clients that have bullish positions on that and have had one since the prior breakout. That one looking better. I think it's time to start peeling out some of that if you're a short-term trader. And Broadcom hits new highs, starting to get a little extended. I sold the 700, 710 call spread here today. This would be one where I'm looking for pullback towards the beginning of the year. The option or the spread was sold in February, so I have a little bit of time to go on that. Just looking for a small pullback. Again, these are trades that I mentioned on the show. We do not trade here at Jazz Wealth. We're long-term investors, but sometimes it's fun when you're staring at the market every day to go, I know that's too far. I just have a little trade on there and see what happens. All right, moving on. Stocks in the news here today. The number one stock, Roku. And Roku is my pick for 2022. That is it. I'm going with Roku. I have a runner-up, which you may not know about, but I'll share that with you. But Roku and a very close second position as well, which I'll probably make a video on to get into more detail because it's not a popular one. You know Roku. Come on now. 1 in 3 TVs now officially is a Roku TV one way or the other. It's down 30% this year, so I like a discount first of all. I think it'll fall a little bit more, but it's down 50% off of highs. I like that. They have now over 55 million users. They have original content, which is different than some of the other platform providers. They have 40% sales growth year over year and 20% year over year if you look back over the last 5 years. They're moving in the right direction. They just got overpriced. Right? Look at the valuation compared to their competitors, and it just got overpriced. So it's working that off right now, and I think 2022 is the year for that to happen. Now, part of this, I believe, is because someone could come along and scoop them up, right? This is the perfect company to be acquired by maybe Comcast, right? Because they're having a hard time with that Peacock. Nobody cares about Peacock right now. They're not doing well, so they'll need to maybe change the name or buy Roku and then just call it Roku. But I think these guys are a potential takeover candidate as well, which is why I hope it falls a little bit further first. And then you obviously start to see some premium built back in there. And got about a $30 billion company, which makes them small enough to not really be on the radar of the FTC, Department of Justice, right? They'll probably just let that one slide, not a big deal there. And if it's not acquired next year, then just their growth alone warrants about this price, in my opinion. So for that, I think you have the best of every world there. You have a company that's obviously profitable and growing rather sharply. You have, of course, users that are there. You have maybe a little issue there with them keeping up with, I mean, what are we on to? 8K now, right? So you got the 4K, 8K, and all this other stuff. So a little bit of issue there. That would be probably a negative for them if I could say that. But obviously TCL, Samsung, all these deals, they're all inside of all of this here. And I don't know. I think it would be more of a pick because of a potential acquisition. But other than that, I think you got a stock pick that people can get excited about. So that's it. I tried to think of something there. Also, my honorable mention, my runner-up, was SQM. And this is a Chilean lithium company that I've been learning about little by little. I like what they're doing here with this. And obviously, you know that lithium is going to be a hot commodity and is a hot commodity. So even though the Chilean government is working on a national lithium company, these guys are going to benefit from that. So that one's kind of interesting to me. I almost picked that one, but I think there'd be a lot more to explain about this company rather than Roku. You guys, I mean, you've heard of Roku. 1 in 3 of you has heard of Roku. I can prove it. Other than that, you had Jets, which is an ETF there. It was actually lower on the day because of all the issues over the holiday. I hope you guys weren't one of them on 800, 900 flights that got canceled. That is horrible. And they go, it was canceled because people were sick. Employees were sick from the Omicron virus. Or was it just that it was the holidays and they'd been worked to death and said, well, I'm going to take some days off. What are you going to do about it, right? You get the feeling that maybe a little bit was that? Just maybe a little bit? What else we have here on the list? Didi. So they said that current and former employees are banned from selling shares in this one. How you feel about that? Now, Didi's not here in the U.S. really anymore. They've been delisted, so it's not an issue for you guys here. But boy, they are coming after Didi, the Chinese government. So that was in the news. Moderna is getting some. Oh, no. Moderna. There we go. Getting some issues from shareholders about costs of the vaccine, the cost to distribute, the cost of these different vaccines that they're putting out, saying, hey, this is now becoming an issue. It's the cost needs to go, or the price needs to go up because the cost is going up. So the stock falling just a little bit on that news. And GoDaddy, not a stock we talk about a lot, but one of the bigger performers today, up 8.3% on the day. Starboard Investments, I believe it was. They've been pretty active lately. It's got about a 6.5% stake in GoDaddy and shows no signs of stopping at the moment. So maybe a little activist efforts there, which is always a good thing for the stock price. So just to point that one out there. And other than that, you have no real earnings coming out tomorrow, no real dividends or anything being paid. It would be a quiet week. It's a quiet week, man. Expect it. I will take your questions and see what I can do to help you out there. Tesla stock, $2 million in the bank. Not even the truck, Kirk? You ain't trying to buy the truck? We're gonna need the lithium, man. Yeah. Chile's really got kind of the grip on lithium right now. That's a big driver for them at the moment as a country. I like what they're doing there. Yep. Tesla insurance 30%. Yeah, that's a brilliant thing there. Come on. If your car is giving the company every bit of data, how is an insurance company not just brilliant for them? That was smart. I wouldn't have thought of that, honestly. But I'm not Elon Musk. Yeah. I think communication sector is going to be a winning or top sector. Have an issue with some of those because you've got a lot of stocks in there that are very sensitive to. Remember, this is like tech communications. It's not telecom of the old days. This is, you're looking at like a Netflix. Okay, well, how did that fit in there? Issues with interest rates rising. Those guys take a lot of money in debt, as they should at the moment, but that's going to affect them there. So I have a hard time saying communication services is going to be one of the leading sectors next year, unless we're just all wrong and interest rates don't go up. They don't budge because of QE stopping, or they don't budge because the Fed decides to start tightening it up. Yeah. Hey, when a stock drops badly after hours on bad earnings like Peloton, Snap, etc., who's buying these large selling orders? Are there that many short sells, tons of thousands? So usually it's computers. You ever notice how there'll be earnings will come out and the stock instantly resets to a different price, whether it's higher or lower? That is the computers reading the earnings transcript, the earnings report. So that's the first round of excitement. Then the conference call transcripts, I believe, come out simultaneously as they're doing them. They're just sort of recorded and transcribed right then and there, so I don't think it's later. And that would be your second round of activity. So it's usually computers reading the reports and, in short, assigning a bunch of ones or zeros or negative ones attached to whether it's plus or minus, different words that they use, and then making their decision in a split second. That's why you see that. Anything that happens after that is just traders having a good time. People adjusting positions. Carnival may lose their Carvana, you mean? Yeah, you mean Carvana, not Carnival. Thought you were typing Carnival. And I can say that Carvana has many issues. The last car I bought from them, they did not charge me for. I just paid for it. I didn't have a loan or anything. I paid for it and never got charged, got the car, and it was probably 8 months before somebody reached out and said, hey, we made a mistake. And, you think like, oh, cool, I got a free car. No, I didn't get the title. I got nothing. I just had a car dropped off and I was driving it for 8 months. So it makes you realize that I'm nobody special, right? Maybe they're growing too fast because what are the odds that it only happened to just me? I'll bet you they're a little bit of a mess there. That was, what was that? Year and a half ago or so. Yeah. So I wish them well. I like the model. I like that I was able to just do that, not have to go to a dealer and spend the whole day trying to buy a car. I mean, that I'll never do that again if I don't have to. Yeah. You think energy is going to be a slow performer in 2022? You could actually use the research site and say, well, how often does energy gain as much as it did this year, right? So you've got, where's it going to finish at? Energy is going to finish up 55%. Right now, it's up 55%, which handily beats every other sector. So you go, well, how often does that rally continue? Or does it? Yeah. Oh, nice. I love, all right. I love it. We're getting into the happiness of politics. Yeah, I watched a little news over the break, and I'm like, think of the time we're losing on other things just by constantly guessing what should be done with the virus. It was disheartening. It's just become political. You know what I mean? You know. There's no need to bring it up there. But anyways, that is that. We will likely see you tomorrow to do this all over again. We'll cover some of this stuff with you and maybe some other good stuff as well. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us here today. You enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we're about to say Merry Christmas, or week, of course, but we're about to say Merry Christmas. No more Merry Christmas? He changed it. He's on it. All right. We'll see you later.